Alright folks, just a quick video. Right, a little bit of a catch up, I suppose, on where we are now and where we've come from. Well, recently where we've come from, I think. So, okay. Yeah, so God said to me, why is there death? Yes. Or why is there still death? Let's be accurate. Okay, so why is there still death? Yes. Well, so of course that led me looking into why there was death in the first place. And that took us back to the original sin. And the fact there was no death before original sin. So therefore original sin caused death. Okay. Right. Well, separation from God. It caused a number of things. Separation from God, sin and death. But sin and death probably caused that separation from God. So, okay. Cool. Got that locked in. Right, cool. Okay. So, okay, in what way did the first sin therefore cause death? What was it about the first sin that caused death? Well, the first sin was eating the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So, okay. The bits that was knowing good, I don't think that's too bad because good, okay. Yeah. Actually, good and evil, both. Knowing good and knowing evil, both. Actually, are what led to death. The reason why is because both are involved in the understanding of sin. The understanding of what is right according to that tree. And that tree, as I've said, another name for it is a tree of death. So, right. Well, because when you partake of its fruit, you are sowing the seeds of death. Okay. So, right, why is there still death? Because of knowing evil. Okay. Knowing good and evil. Yes, okay. So, okay, if we just focus on evil, then... Well, that's how I got there. I wasn't focused on good until a few seconds ago in this video. And there's like, oh, well, actually, good is still part of that judgment. So, yeah, okay. So, we learn together, don't we? Yeah. So, anyway, I was focusing on knowing evil. So, what does knowing evil mean? And then God led me to that scripture about we no longer... Is it judge people according to the flesh? I think it's judge people according to the flesh. That's what Paul wrote. And yeah. According to the flesh. According to the flesh, well, the flesh is of this world, therefore death, and therefore sin. So, okay. Therefore, seeing sin is the thing that leads us to death. Okay. That was a very basic understanding. Well, of course, the understanding then opened up to, okay, knowing or walking according to the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Yeah, which then went on to the point that, preaching life while also preaching it according to the knowledge of the tree of good and evil is also preaching death. And when you do things that way, you can see why the tree, or why you can see why the seed often does not bear fruit. Well, because if you're sowing life and sowing death at the same time, which is more likely to root? Because the person you're sowing it into already has death. A lot of death. So chances are it's death that's going to root rather than life. So, okay. That means that for future reference, we need to teach those who are going to go out to evangelize not to speak or act or walk according to the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Therefore, they will not be sowing death, they'll only be sowing life. Which means you've got a far better chance of seed falling upon good ground. Cool. That's helpful. Then, reminding of the fact that both trees are still very much on this earth. And if we can live according to one, we can actually live according to the other. So, the way to stop living according to the knowledge of the tree of good and evil is to live according to the knowledge of the tree of life. And of course, this is going to take time to understand and to know how to walk according to. But it's a start. And that then led to the understanding that Yeshua fixed so much of what was broken by Adam and Eve by that decision. What he didn't do, and what he left to us to do, is to help people to live and to point people to the tree of life as a way of, well, because when it comes down to it, an awful lot of our sin is based upon the knowledge of good and evil. And so, cutting that out of us, no longer partaking of that fruit, is going to cut out a lot of the things that lead us to sin. But that's good. That's going to help us immensely, isn't it? But if we can see, and this started a long time ago, the whole point of that our job is to bless people, is not to judge. Well, Matthew 7 starts with, do not judge. And then it goes on to, for the judgment you use will be used back onto you, and the measure you use will be measured back onto you. But it starts with, do not judge. So if we just take notice of that and don't judge, we're going to be in a far stronger position anyway. Because look, the reality is, we're incredibly foolish if we try and judge that which God has forgiven or that which God wanted to happen. And we try and put judgment upon that. That's incredibly foolish. And when we judge others, we are going to be judged. And the reality is, it doesn't matter who you are. You cannot afford to pay the price for that judgment. If you are found guilty, which you will be if you are judged, you will be found guilty. The price is an eternity in hell. So, yeah. Let's try and get these things right. And help others to get them right. Yeah. But as I say, I think the future is incredibly promising. Because if that is correct, if we can do things according to that, then, yeah. The way we're going to walk is going to be beautiful. It's going to be phenomenal. And we're going to do works that this world has never seen. I think that is absolutely true. Well, because we're going to be doing works that it's going to be like, as I said before, you have 100,000 Christs walking on the earth. Yeah, blessing people, healing people. Yeah. Helping people, loving people. Just being loving, not judging. Understanding it's not your job to judge. Now again, this is where there is if your job is as a pastor or teacher, sometimes your job will be to judge, right? Because that's your job. Generally speaking, if you're an evangelist, well, your job is to just go out and bless people, to heal them, deliver, to evangelize, to do all of that. Your job is not to judge, because the people in the world, they face enough judgment already. Most people have had it from a very, very young age. Just judgment, 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 judgment. What they haven't really had is love. We're supposed to shine the light in the darkness, not add to the darkness. So, yeah. I think it's going to be bright. Yeah. So there you go. You take care, God bless. Be a blessing, be blessed, and have a fantastic rest of the week. Yeah. Ask God to help you, to understand, to see things differently, to learn. There you go. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.